Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Today is a fast follow-up to a video I did recently comparing H&K's new CC9 to the VP9SK, formerly H&K's smallest striker fire gun that was great for concealed carry. But in the comments section of that video, I wound up having more comments about the P30SK and lots of requests to see these two side by side. So A, thank you guys so much for watching and sounding off. I appreciate you being here. And two, so let's do a quick side-by-side look at two fantastic small H&K guns, but they are completely different because it really boils down to do you want a striker fire gun that is super skinny, or do you want a hammer fired gun that maybe is a little bit chunky, but very ergonomic? So we'll look at them both side by side and see what I like about one versus the other, more or less. So, and as always, love to hear your feedback. What do you think about the P30SK versus the CC9? Do you have experience with both? What do you like? You can look at them and you can see they're pretty close in size. The P30 is a little bit bigger in almost every dimension. Lengthwise, it's just a tad bit longer. A little bit longer sight radius, you can see there, sorry. A little bit longer sight radius. Height-wise, they're almost identical. You can't see from this view here, but they're pretty much identical with these magazines. The P30 extends just a little bit more with this extended magazine. But the big difference is the width. This guy is a little over 1 inch wide. This guy is just under 1 inch wide, and that makes a massive difference when carrying, especially inside the waistband. Capacity-wise, very similar. This CC9 is outfitted with the extended pinky mag here that holds 12. It also comes with a flush fit 10-round magazine. The VP9SK comes with a variety of magazines. I think there's a flush fit that holds, I forget the count now. This is an older extended pinky magazine that holds 10. The new ones hold 12. And this firearm also takes the bigger or larger 15 round, 17 round, and even larger magazines for a P30 full size or a VP9. So capacity-wise, we're equal, but for magazine compatibility and lots of options, the P30 is really, really hard to beat. Now, it also comes down to like striker fire guns or hammer fire guns. I'll tell you straight away, I like hammer fire guns better. The CC9 is a really good shooter, and it does have the international safety dingus on there to keep you from pulling the trigger, as you have your finger fully engaged on the trigger. But I do love the safety of a hammer fired gun, especially when carrying concealed inside the waistband pointed at my junk. You can have your thumb on this thing so nothing gets caught in the holster as you holster it. And then even if it does, you have the very heavy double action pull before going to single action. So I really love the safety features of a hammer fired gun better. Other features and benefits, you can see the sights on the CC9 have the blacked out rears here with some textures back there, and the bright green front post. I like the sight picture a little better on the CC9, I believe. This does have a good 3-dot setup, and it does glow at night after some lights on it. So sights, I think a slight advantage maybe to the CC9, but that's personal preference. You can also see that CC9 is more modern because it does come with an optics cut. We do not have that on the P30. So again, a little bit of toss-up. It all comes down to preferences. They're both fully ambi, which is something being a left-hander I totally love. The P30SK has the slide catch on both sides. It has a decocker in the back. I call this ambi. Some people argue it's on one side versus the other, but I can easily actuate with my thumb left-handed, just like I could right-handed, so no difference there. And most of all, it has H&K's awesome signature paddle release magazines, which are fantastic. I'll go ahead and show clear here. There's nothing in the chamber of this firearm, because we'll look at the triggers in a second. But again, you can easily decock the firearm left-handed. So you can also see without the pinky extension, I only have 2-finger grip. So I do really like this extended base plate. Also, while I have this gun, nothing is more ergonomic than the H&Ks. The P30s and the VP9s both have the interchangeable back straps and side panels to customize the grip to your fit and help with your trigger placement. So ergonomics wise, while the CC9 is nice and does have adjustable back straps, it's not quite as nice as the P30 in my humble opinion. Both have great texturing, both have finger grooves, more more prevalent there, but there are some here too. And again, this gun does feel fantastic. We'll drop this out as well, show you clear. And you can see without the pinky extender there, I am also have a floating pinky. Look at these side by side, they are pretty much identical height-wise. So just another comparison for you there. Now, shootability-wise, honestly, I actually shoot the CC9 a little better. I'm better with the P30L than I am the subcompact here. I'm great with 5 yards and in. This guy I'm a little better at 7 yards and in, so slightly better here. And I will be putting an optic on this guy real soon. Oh, before I forget, the most controversial thing, back to ambi. The CC9 is also fully ambi. Slide, stop, slide, catch here. The safety dingus is in the middle, of course, but it is also ambi that it has buttons on this side and this side that work for left or right-handers. The only blasphemous thing that happens is that HK fans don't love the button. They like the paddle releases. I like the paddle better, but the button works just fine. And I do really appreciate the fact that HK did take time to make the firearm ambi. Look at the kind of triggers on there. They're both, I guess, a good size trigger. Pretty much same placement. Almost the same size trigger guard. Very similar undercut, a little more of an undercut on the CC9 versus the P30. Again, the P30 to me just feels better in my hand. Trigger-wise, the benefit of the striker fire is you have the same trigger every single time, and the trigger is a very good trigger. You can have some take up, brakes, and then back at the wall, brakes again. So a very good trigger on the CC9. I love that. The P30 can be a little more complicated. I have the double action, single action version, which again has the decocker here. One way to tell those apart, because I like the safety of a big, heavy double action pull that cocks the hammer, then releases it. You're not gonna pull that trigger on accident for sure. So that pull is pretty heavy. If you do a single action pull, you have a little bit of take up and a brake, but the reset is a little longer here. Quite a bit out there, and some more take up and back. So I like, of the two guns I own, I like the trigger on the CC9 better. However, there is another option for the P30, and I hear a lot of people talking about the LEM trigger, which I have on some other HKs that I own. But the LEM trigger is a fantastic option for this carry as well. You still get the benefit of the hammer that you can keep your junk safe, but it has, short story long, long story short, a more consistent trigger pull. It's not a short reset or anything like that, but you have the same pull every single time. So that is a benefit of the P30, that you have multiple configurations that you can build with your triggers. So at the end of the day, if I had to choose one, and that would be a really hard choice. I've had the P30 longer. The CC9 is really hard to find. I think I shoot the CC9 a little better, but if I trained with this guy as much as I train with this, I do carry this more, honestly. I probably would be even more accurate with this guy. If I had to choose just one, which would you choose? First of all, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But if I had to choose just one, I'm going with the P30 every time. So thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate y'all's feedback. And again, if you would, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks again.